Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Just wanted to let you guys know, this is my first AMA ever. So please bear with me as it's actually my first live broadcast I've ever done. I want to thank everyone for participating and sending us great questions about Plair on our Reddit. Any comments and questions that you're going to submit during our live feed, I'll be sure to get them answered in a Medium article at a later date. All right, let's jump right into it. So let's start off with the first question from Crypto BDSM. Crypto BDSM is asking, what has been done code or project-wise since the GOLT times a few months ago? So for those of you that don't know, we started out as GOLT, and since then we've kind of revamped and grown into a much larger gaming ecosystem. So we've already begun to work on the revamped Plair platform. Coding has already begun. The schedule will be reflected in the roadmap that's listed in the Plair white paper on the website. So you can find that at plair.life. So during the last few months, we've been building up our team in Hong Kong, and we've opened up a new tech team office in Shenzhen, just north of the Hong Kong border, actually. So it's very easy for us to cross over in about 45 minutes, so not too bad. So we also recently conducted a fairly lengthy trip in the U.S. To talk to a potential new and the current partners that Plair has. So Plair is growing very quickly, and we basically thought that we basically outgrew what GOLT was back then, and it just simply didn't meet the scope that we want to achieve with Plair and what Plair is going to be. Okay, question number 2 from Number Half. So Number Half's asking, the whole esports industry is valued at 1.5 billion. Yet, if you see all your tokens at ICO, your market cap will be 120 million. This seems rather excessive. What is the justification for this huge market cap right out of the gate? Good question. So please bear in mind, we're not just focused on the esports industry, but the entire gaming industry itself. So the entire game industry is around $130 billion. We're also minting enough token to last us for years to come. Plair doesn't just plan to sell all of our tokens, but rather use them within the Plair ecosystem. We want to truly evolve the $130 billion gaming industry into something that's something like a decentralized mecca of fulfillment. We want to empower the users to earn a living doing what they love best, and that's gaming. Okay, next question's from Joshua SP. What are you telling your private investors your company will be worth in 5 years? That's a fair question, Joshua SP. Plair actually, we don't make any promises on the value of Plair in the future. Rather, our investors are believers in what Plair is and what we do. So our investors obviously see huge potential in Plair, or else they wouldn't invest in Plair. And above all else, this is why they've actually become investors of Plair. So when we were actually talking to our private investors, we specifically looked for candidates that were talking about Plair out past the next 10 years, actually. And to us, Plair is definitely the future, and our private investors see it the same way. And that's why they're big supporters of ours, not just in investment capital, but also in what we plan on doing. Next question is from Alex Parrish 1. What will be the significance of the token in the ecosystem? Esports is a hard area to disrupt. What advantages and features does Plair have to disrupt it? Very good question. So Plair's token is crucial to the ecosystem. So Plair is actually offering gamer and gaming fans of all kinds to participate in all the many features that Plair is going to offer to all the users. So all this obviously centers around the Plair token itself. So the Plair token is actually a utilization token that's needed for transactions that happen directly on the blockchain within the Plair ecosystem. Plair can be used for such things such as staking tokens into a match or smart contracts, donating tokens to content creators, and also earning tokens as a reward for completing certain tasks. Tasks such as even watching content, providing some of your computer resources, etc., etc. The list is very big, and it keeps going on and on. So we get into more of the token details on our white paper. So please make sure, if you haven't done so, to go to our website again at plair.life and click on the link at the upper right-hand corner under white paper, and you'll be able to download it and give it a quick read. It's not terribly long. I think it's fairly well written, so you guys should be able to get through it fairly quickly. So Plair has a team, the advisors and the partners, to help definitely disrupt the current gaming ecosystem. So Plair, we at Plair noticed that currently gaming platforms are fairly fragmented. You have to play on one platform, then go video stream on another, and that makes it very difficult for players to kind of experience a very seamless experience that Plair is going to be able to offer. And most of the time, going from platform to platform can be somewhat frustrating. So Plair is setting out to create a product for where gamers and gaming fans only need to go to one place to enjoy the best gaming experience possible, while earning rewards for doing so. So imagine you're owning Plair tokens through many different services on Plair. You don't need to go to one platform where you earn one type of token, and then you need to go change that token on, say, a secondary market of some kind, and then move it to another token, to be able to use it on another platform. You won't have to do that with Plair. You'll be able to do all of it in one place. So one of the biggest things Plair is doing, other than rewarding streaming viewerships, one of the things that Plair is doing is rewarding viewership of streaming, which is something that YouTube and Twitch has not done yet. So yeah, that's very, very special actually, to reward simply the viewers. I'll get into more of this later on. So the next question is from Pepper in Milnars. I hope I pronounced that correctly. First, the question that Pepper Milnars is asking is, any insight as to why the GOLT pre-Plair ICO dollar amount that is now required increased from $20 million US to $30 million US dollars? AKA, what has changed in detail in terms of the business case? So yeah, it's a very, very good question. We did indeed increase the amount that we wanted to raise from GOLT to Plair. And the reason why we increased the investments since the GOLT days is because of how much bigger Plair has become as a platform, and the added value of our new unannounced partners that are fused into our ecosystem. So Plair now is 10 times larger than what GOLT was before. We're 10 times larger, but at the same time, we're only adding a 30% increase in investment. GOLT used to only be tournaments as well. It's very niche. But now Plair has the capacity to take over the entire gaming ecosystem. We're all very, very excited by this. We want to make sure all gamers and gaming fans come and stay in the Plair ecosystem. And all the initial funding builds us the platform our new partners need to support the millions of future users on Plair. Next question from TLJ Man. In your business model, how do you plan to make money, and how much are you thinking you can make off a single user? Okay, so the first thing Plair wants to make sure we do as a platform is to see that our users are taken care of, right? Users are obviously players' number one asset. So, you know, when we take care of our players on Plair, our business will thrive. So we plan on making money at the beginning by taking a transaction fee for every tournament that's created. After that, we'll go ahead and bring in sponsorship money with sponsors. We already have built a relationship through our traditional esports background. You can kind of read more about our esports background on our white paper as well. So we run kind of two traditional esports businesses. One is esports management, as well as sponsorship management, and the other one is actually running an offline city league here based in Asia for League of Legends. And you know, we actually manage a League of Legends team called Panda Cute. They're actually Hong Kong's #1 League of Legends all-female team. You can check them out at pandacute.com and see what they've been up to. Okay, so yeah, so once we get through phase 1, which is shown in detail in the current white paper, phase 2 will bring in streaming, and we're gonna be able to make money off the content. And the money is saved through decentralized computing as well as sponsorships for the content itself. After that, we'll move into phase 3, which will allow communities to build tools and independent games to run on Plair's blockchain and utilize Plair's tokens. So Plair will come up with a strategy at a later date for phase 3. Phase 2 and phase 3 will have all new white papers written before we launch our product. Now, this is not to raise more money. This is more writing white papers to make sure we stay transparent with our Plair community. So we you know, to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. You know, I personally want to make sure that, you know, our entire Plair community, you know, gets to know, like, oh, what exactly are you guys going to be doing for streaming, and how does the tech work, right? How does the decentralization work? How do we earn rewards through content, through the content network, right? Also as you know, as a community protocol for, you know, that's being built on VeChain's tech. That's going to be huge. And then phase 3 is white paper will get farther and farther, deeper and deeper into exactly how the community is going to be able to earn more Plair tokens through building tools for our streaming platform, for the tournament platforms, also being able to build games that can be supported by Plair, right? So this will all be very, very exciting as we move forward. Okay, so next question is from Cryptori. In your grand vision of the decentralized cloud, are games actually built on the blockchain, or will you just be propping up structures for players to play games by publishers like Halo or whatever? So yeah, great question. So it's actually both. So we fully expect and are building tools actually for publishing company or dev team to fully build the games to distribute on Plair in a decentralized fashion. We also want to offer the ability for high performance rigs and server farms to you know, potentially serve as higher end gaming experience for users that may not have the rigs that can power some of the more modern games that we have these days, or maybe they can power them, but they want to just run them at a higher resolution, maybe with more 3D rendering, more shadows turned on, etc., etc. So with that, we'll obviously again release a white paper later on to explain this in much more details. You know, we're currently you know, we're trying to protect our pending intellectual property. So once that comes out, it will be a great read for you guys. So next question is coming from Rock Rada. Rock Rada says, I'm a big fan of box mining. Great, so we're a big fan of box mining as well. That's fantastic. He's been involved in gaming and cryptocurrency blockchain for years. I see he's an advisor for Plair. So what sort of things, or what is his involvement in the project? So that's a fantastic question. I think a lot of people have asked us or have been wondering, wow, this is box mining's first advisory. It's amazing, you know, why, right? So box mining is a very integral part of Plair and Plair's ecosystem. So as most of you know, box mining actually has a heavy gaming background in development. And he's done a couple of startups already, actually, building games. And he's integral in Plair building its ecosystem. You know, box mining's experience has and will always help create the ultimate experience for our Plair's users. After all, he told me himself that, you know, he wants to make sure that we build a product that he'll use himself. You know, so that's why box mining is a very integral part of Plair. All right. Plus, Box Mining is he's a fantastic crypto analysis analyst. Actually, if any of you have watched his videos, I know I do. So tune into Box Mining's YouTube channel if you haven't done so, and it's very educational. And he puts up a video almost just about every day. So check it out. So yeah, next question is from Sedge Likes. This person says, the main issue I have with your platform is the potential user base. There are a lot of products out there. Do you really have partners to help onboard millions of users? How do you plan to market? Does your agreement with these partners come with specific figure on added members? Wow, that's a really great detailed question. And right now, I'll let you know, unfortunately, we cannot divulge user numbers with our partners because we're bound by contract and an NDA policy. So all I can tell you is that their influence on the gaming market is huge. So there's a huge potential here with the partners that we're already working with. And as we move forward, we'll definitely be releasing this information out to you guys through our various social channels that you can find below in the description of our YouTube video. Plair is already working with some of the biggest gaming partners in the world. We have been building key relationships with partners in every corner of the globe. NGE is one of the examples of one of our strong partnerships we have. So NGE is actually one of the advisors on our advisory board. You can see there, we have Andy and Jason. NG is actually North America's largest esports content, events, and broadcasting company. A lot of people don't know this because they actually fly under the radar. They've been hugely successful running massive tournaments for top gaming publishers in the world. And obviously through their partnership, we'll definitely be able to onboard potentially millions of North American players alone. And they're not the only partner that we're working with that's capable of adding all these additional millions of unique users. So Plair will be a disruptive force, and our partners are dead set on making this technology a key part of their future as well. Plair not only makes their business models easier to execute, but also a lot more profitable as well. So that's where Plair comes into play for our partners as well. It's not just a one-way partnership. We want to make sure that everyone's taken care of from a two-way side, right? That obviously makes the best kind of partnership. Okay, next question from Blame the Air for Gossip. Love the nickname. So they said, but the question is, not are you open to, but will you be working with esports organizations that have global appeal like TSM, Liquid, or even Energy? Yeah, absolutely. Plair is definitely happy to work with any esports organization out there, and we'll have a lot to offer them. Plair's ecosystem is built that we can accept any partnership in gaming. As a matter of fact, Plair is already in talks with major esports organizations around the globe as we speak. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be some exciting stuff. We're just in today's meeting we had during the day, we actually brought up some esports organizations that have actually reached out to us. So we'll definitely keep you informed as we sign these guys on board. Next question is from Strength Cat. The question is, how do you tend to attract the leading esports monopolies like EA Games, /FIFA, Activision Blizzard, Riot Games, Valve, Steam, etc.? That's a great question. I think Strength Cap asked this because, generally speaking, I think it's a known fact that first-tier game publishers are very, very hard to get in contact with and hard to build a relationship with, right? Because they're so big already. And no, it's a great question. So let me kind of get into this. So Plair is going to attract leading sports and monopolies through our existing relationships that with our traditional esports world. We'll also obviously leverage our partners' strength and advisors' ongoing relationship with these publishers as well. With that said, the partners and advisors that we bring in are primarily gaming related because we believe that the advisors that we bring on board, they offer us a lot. When we first speak to them, we always kind of work hand in hand, and we say, hey, how can Plair help you guys, right? From a partner perspective, and then in turn they let us know how they can help us, whether it's running events or introducing us to potential publishers, new partners, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all these things kind of work well and help us build a larger ecosystem within Plair. And our team and network understands this industry to its fullest, right? We've designed a product, business channel, and ecosystem that empowers these monopolies in ways that vastly improve what they're already offering to their users. So in fact, Plair is actually offering kind of a new product for these publishers, because publishers typically spend a lot of time primarily focusing on prize pools or tournaments and the actual game itself, right? They at the end of the day, they're the game builders, and that's what they have to focus on. All right, next question from Tendir. The gaming market in China is very different than America. Why should I trust you to make a global product? Good question. So to answer that, we want to let you know that we have partners from all over the world. NG is an example. They're North America's largest esports content provider and our advisors. I know I keep beating that over the head, but I just want to let you guys know that NG is huge, and they've been a huge help for us. They're one of the guys that we met this last trip when we were in US. And we have very strong advisors on board, and we're adding more advisors day by day, right? Guys that can offer us insight into their gaming worlds and their partnerships, and who they can bring on board for us, right? And we have a world-class team to make sure our product is globalized, and we already have the network to make it more than likely simply a dream, right? So next question is from Peg Lake Jenkins. Hi Pat. Hi Peg Lake. Thanks so much for doing this. What are some of your plans for developing a presence in the US? So it may be hard to see given our headquarters location. You can see behind me, it's already dark outside. So right now I'm sitting in my office in Hong Kong. It's about 10:20 p.m. at night. Happy to be here on this AMA, talking to Plair's worldwide audience. It's pretty awesome. We've already developed a presence in the United States. When our platform is fully built, there's actually going to be little to deny that Plair is actually truly a global ecosystem supporting the gamer's lifestyle. And you guys will all see that when it comes out. The second part of Peg Lake Jenkins' question is, in Telegram, I noticed you mentioned visiting several US cities. Secondly, I'd like to know how you further look to monetize the platform, as I'm not entirely convinced taking 2% cut on all tournaments hosted on the platform will be enough to sustain adequate growth of the ecosystem. Thank you again for doing this AMA. You're welcome. I'm happy to do the AMA, actually. Yes, you're right. I did indeed mention on the Plair Telegram that I did tour several major US cities recently, and we were talking to potential new and the current partners. And as a result, we've actually drastically increased Plair's reach once we launch. So 2% of the tournament, 2% transaction fee of the tournament is actually our base model. In the future release of the Plair platform white papers, you will actually see all the additional ways that Plair is going to be able to increase revenue generation. We fully expect this 2% will meet our needs currently while we build out phase one, and plus on top of the ICO raise, right? And the bulk of our revenue generation in future phases of the platform. So I mean, like all startups, right? It'd be great if we were making profit on day one, right? But like all great startups, we all have to start somewhere. And I've run a few startups. I've run several startups myself before, and there's always a burn rate at the beginning when we start building, because the product's not complete yet. But once we complete the product, we will come up with several different kinds of revenue generating models for Plair that will work for us, and where we're going to ensure that we'll be profiting. And at the same time, we're also going to come up with different kinds of schemas for the token utilization on our platform that will help drive the future price of our token, which is going to benefit everyone, either people just holding our token or playing our token, right? So it's going to be an awesome thing. Okay, so on to the next question. This question is from the great General Han Xin. How do you plan to market this to the already existing gaming communities, like that of Twitch and others? Yeah, okay, so I figured a question about Twitch or YouTube would come up. So yeah, we've built some very strong relationships with our partners and advisors, as well as our strategic investors. So all this adds up to a huge ecosystem of users that's going to be added to Plair. Plair is being built from the ground up, and so will its user base. So actually, our users are going to be very, very passionate about Plair as we kind of carry them as players into becoming potential KOLs and influencers and becoming, famous with lots of followers, even a small cult following. Whatever suits our players. We're there to offer anything our players need. So out of the players we bring on board for our tournaments, we're going to have plans to transition them into streamers and content providers. And also as we grow, other users from existing game communities and platforms will migrate to Plair through various online and offline marketing methods, which include but not limited to things like official player tournaments or sanctioned events, marketing events, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's many things that we can do from a marketing aspect, right? That can bring more player users. We're even going to be attacking the slightly less served countries. Maybe South America, Southeast Asia. There's many places we can go, like even the Middle East, right? So users will see that Plair will offer a lot more as a platform and a community compared to the ones that they may already be on. And that's the major goal of Plair, right? To make sure that we offer the best service and best experience possible as a gaming platform. Okay, next question is from Lucky Moneyman. In the white paper, First Blood is mentioned as a competitor who will run into scaling issues in the future due to Ethereum's supported TPS. From a technical standpoint, it seems that the sole difference in First Blood and Plair comes down to chosen blockchain platforms. Since it seems like many of the mechanics are the same between the two, is this correct? First Blood actually does bear some similarities to our Plair Phase 1 tournament platform, but beyond that, there's not much that's similar. As I mentioned before, Plair is going to provide services and tools that's not offered in First Blood, and it's going to go way beyond that. This includes streaming, community building on the blockchain, and forming an ecosystem that's going to help players, viewers, and devs build their own brand and earn rewards. And that's what's going to be amazing about this platform, is that you yourself can actually be basically your own gaming boss, right, on Plair. Plair is also, again, formed strong partnership with some of the largest players in the gaming industry. And most of you know that we are part of VeChain's ecosystem, and through them, we have access to their awesome, huge VeChain community, right? And for those of you that follow VeChain's Telegram and community, you know how passionate you guys are. You guys are awesome. VeChain for us was by far a much better choice than Ethereum. All right, next question from TLJ Man. This is kind of the elephant that's in the room that's been going around lately. So why is your white paper so similar to Asura Coin, and did you leave Neo because of them? All right, let's get into this one. We started writing our white paper back in August of 2017 as an esports tournament platform at the time. It was pretty niche. But since then, we've extended well beyond esports tournaments. And I want to be honest with you guys. When I first saw this stuff going on in Telegram about Asura Coin, I literally told myself, like, who is this? Like, I can honestly tell you, I've never heard of them until it was brought up with some of the FUD that was going on, this and that. So I'm here to answer some of these questions about this. So you can see also our white paper is very comprehensive and offers a much larger picture than Asura Coin. And kind of a little bit of quick history. So we actually spoke to Neil back in January, and I've had WeChat conversations with some of the Neo Foundation guys, NGC Capital, et cetera, et cetera. And at the time we did decide that Neo was a better option than Ethereum. We were at the Neo DevCon. We saw, we went there, we met a couple of guys. And, but since then, our project has evolved, and, our team decided that we needed to form a stronger bond with the blockchain protocol we want to build on. And, Plair had several stringent requirements that actually weren't exactly met by Neo. namely, cost effectiveness of smart contracts, the development progress, code quality, and the strong bond and partnership that we really wanted to have within a blockchain protocol partner. And not to knock Neo, there's nothing wrong with projects building on Neo, right? Like Asura Coin's building on Neo, and good for them. So let's fast forward a few months, and a few months later, I actually a friend of mine introduced me to Sunny Liu. Actually, it's a friend of mine, but he's actually a strategic advisor of ours. On our white paper, you'll see him as the company is called Cream Crypto. So he introduced me to Sunny Liu, which you guys know is the CEO of VeChain. A few months after, after January, right? And during our conversation, he was able to offer me an end-to-end solution and let us know that if we join the VeChain ecosystem, we will be able to ensure a long-lasting partnership. So that in itself was already a big seller for us, right? And just to let you guys know, we definitely did not leave Neo because of Asura Coin. We chose VeChain because of the stronger developers, partnerships, and ecosystem that VeChain has to offer to us. So any FUD you guys hear online about us copying is simply BS. You can actually look at our partnerships and advisors as proof that we are stronger than any other gaming ecosystem project out there, including Asura Coin. All right, so let's move on from all this. Next question is from I'm not a guitar. I love that. That's a great username. So the question is, how do you intend to conquer a piece of the market share of Twitch and others? With the years of experience and know-how, existing tech, size, etc., Twitch has over 1,000 employees and has Amazon as its parent company. So yeah, another great question. We will conquer other companies because we are offering products that they simply don't offer. And we're building a model that supports publishers, leagues, devs, and players more so than just streamers and content providers, which is what Twitch basically is, right? Twitch. So, one of the biggest problems that, Plair is trying to solve is the problem of fragmentation of the gaming products out in the market. Twitch only does streaming. We add play plus streaming plus community tools. We also offer a way for viewers to earn rewards that existing streaming products simply don't offer. And that's, again, I'm mentioning this again, right? How often do you see viewers getting rewarded for streaming products that are already on the market? It just simply doesn't exist. So we know the viewership is huge, right? We looked at Fortnite's numbers, and Fortnite's got like 40-50 million players on board now, but they've got over 200 viewers, which is an incredible number. This is why we want to bring the viewers into our Plair platform and make sure that they get rewarded as well for doing what they love to do. Besides playing gaming, they love watching, they love taking in content, and so do I. And for a fact, I'll be using Plair myself, and you'll probably be able to find me on there in the future. Okay, another question from TLJ Man. Your publicly traded competitor Huya has a market cap of $9.311 billion. How can your 30 million really disrupt someone of that size? So Huya is very similar to Twitch. They're big at the moment because there's actually nothing better out on the market. They're just competing against each other, right, from a different market perspective. We are that something better, and our network is larger than Huya in reach and revenue. So I think a lot of people actually, a lot of our investors agree with us actually when they come on board, because Huya and Twitch primarily just work with content and content streamers, right? They're the ones that are making all the money, and Twitch and Huya take a huge portion of that. And we don't want that to happen, right? We believe that if you're the content provider, you should be the one that should be rewarded the most, not the actual platform itself. Another question from TLJ Man. Both Ninja and Nadeshot regret leaving Twitch for MLG.com when they opened their streaming platform because it shrank their community so much. What will you do to attract large name streamers who care about their reach more than any money you could throw at them? Another great question. So our streaming community comes from players. They are the heart and soul of our community. That's how we're going to start. we plan on turning users with Plair into potential influences of their own. Ninja and Nature are great personalities, and from what we can tell, they're great people too. We will welcome them on our market, but the gaming industry is, they're better served if they choose Plair because we offer a better product for them. And their community compared to bribing, we don't, we have a better product, better community. It's better than compared to bribing them to switch over to Plair, right? That's not something we want to do, and that's kind of what's going on, in that kind of the toxic streaming environment right now, right? Everyone's kind of like overpaying, trying to pull people in, signing streamers to long-term contracts, and when things get bad, streamers can't get out of these contracts, and generally it's fairly toxic, and this is not something Plair wants to get into, right? So the bribing part is doesn't serve anyone in a win-win form whatsoever. So Plair wants to kind of fix this problem as well that's going on within the streaming industry. All right, next question is from It's Your Bra. Will there be any interaction with other ICOs, for example, DBet, BitOcean, OceanX, perhaps in terms of betting apps or token economy? If so, in what way? So as we mentioned, all projects that are part of VeChain's ecosystem will be supported in all ways they can. And at this time, I can't mention our potential partnerships that we're working on, but don't worry, we'll definitely let our community know, you guys know as soon as we're able to, And also just to let you guys know, VeChain put us through immense due diligence process with the company, so I know they did the same with the other ones as well. That the stamp of approval alone compelled us to leverage a joint bond for the betterment of our platform and community. When we committed to VeChain, we also committed to their ecosystem, and it just turns out that the ecosystem is being built with true business leaders. Some of you guys have probably watched Sunny Lu give his speeches, right? And you can also see all the fantastic partnerships that VeChain's brought in. I mean, some of them are Fortune 500 companies, and that's kind of what I really love about VeChain is that not only has VeChain built a public blockchain for everyone to use, but on the flip side, VeChain's super legitimate because they've brought in guys like BMW, PwC as a partner, right? I mean, how many blockchain protocols do you know that have brought in PwC, a big four, right? It's insane. So that's one of the reasons why we want to work with VeChain and enter into their ecosystem. So VeChain has pledged to us the full weight of VeChain's community tools and development features behind us, and that's just awesome. Okay, next question is from Mommy Loves You. Will you add gambling and betting in some way, and if so, how will you handle this in countries where this isn't allowed? Great question. You totally understand jurisdiction practices for gambling. So as of right now, we want to release a global product. So wagering is going to be set aside for the time being. As we move forward, if we decide to open wagering, Plair is going to open it jurisdiction by jurisdiction. I think most of you guys know that gambling licenses are required country by country, and in the case of the United States, they require it state by state. And right now, the United States, online gambling is not quite legal. But some of you guys might have heard the good news that recently they overturned the decision that only allowed Las Vegas to do sports betting. Now all states in the U.S. can start opening up sports betting, which is really, really good for ecosystems like Plair and other guys like DBet, etc. Right? Like anybody that's working in gambling with an open U.S. system, it's going to be immensely helpful. So wagering for us is kind of like an added value to the ecosystem we want to get into, but it's not the core value right now, and we must establish our core value before integrating wagering into our system, right? Because we want to definitely make sure that we have the users and the content streamers, everyone, to be able to support wagering in the future. All right, next question is from Panda Rage Killer. Will there be any interaction with digital gaming assets, ICOs like Engine or Wax, or will you add this potential feature economy to Plair someday? So yeah, so Plair is open to partnerships with any gaming asset that makes sense for Plair. We will definitely be announcing some of the partnerships soon, so stay tuned to our social channels that are listed below again. Next question is from Kitten Pumper. Sunny Liu hinted on Twitter about Engine in reply to box mining being at E3. What is the connection with Engine? They have a great project. If nothing yet, how will you be looking to team up with them in the future? They should also move to VeChain Thor to align themselves with mainstream adoption. I know what you're doing there. All I have to say is, you see my grin? You can interpret that however you like. I'm a big fan of Engine and their team, and their developers are definitely world class, and I'm sure you guys know this. And I wish them all the best of luck. Okay. Actually, yeah, there's one more question, so let's move on to this last question here. It's from Endless Summer 101. I assume simulated drone racing would be a possibility on the Plair platform. Is there any plans to have things like real-life drone racing tournaments on Plair? This could definitely be a possibility this could be possibly perceived as not esports by some people. However, I feel like it's not that black and white. Red Bull, for example, has some great comps, and the competitors often use VR headsets as an interface, for example. The audience could also use VR for watching. Great question. So yeah, I like this alternative question you're asking about drone racing. And to be honest, anything's possible with Plair. That's how we're actually building our ecosystem. We want to keep it open to all types of gamer and gaming opportunities. You guys remember, Plair is not just esports; it's gaming. All right. So yeah, that was the last question. I really appreciate you guys spending time here with me and joining me on my first AMA/live streaming experience. It's been a blast. I look forward to reading all you guys' comments and questions that you might have left behind. I don't have the YouTube stream up, so I haven't checked it out yet. But any questions you guys have, I won't be answering them in this YouTube live, but I will for sure get to you guys, and I will create a Medium article answering any additional questions you guys may have, and I'll go ahead and update that, and we will announce that on Twitter, Telegram, and let you guys know when it's up and ready. So again, thank you guys for your support, and participation. Remember to follow our social channels. It's right here. It's also at the bottom of our video here in the detail section. And with that, Plair for life. I'm out. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon.